Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signor, and Kanye West showed up this afternoon for the Joe Rogan Experience. It's already trending, getting tons of views online. If you want to watch the episode in its entirety, go do it. It's 3 hours long. I can't play the clips due to Spotify, YouTube, rights issues, etc. I'm going to play a couple clips and offer some commentary over them. So if you don't want that sort of thing and you clicked in the wrong place, apologies. Go click on, I'll put the link in the description. You can go watch the whole episode and tell you where in the episode I'm pulling these clips that I'm going to break down. I'm going to go through I'm going to do a review of the episode as a whole, but I'm also going to break down a segment that was fascinating to me. Kanye West is clearly obsessed with the Star Wars prequels, and he makes some interesting comments about it. So I want to start there and focus on that. But overall, it's sort of important. I pulled this clip first because this one really sums up what it's like to hear a long-form interview with Kanye West.
Look at society as one
talking
body.
A bit to set this up.
I want to just go into this riff because my thoughts are like these clouds and Mario Brothers, and I'll jump to this and I'll see another one. I'll jump to another one. It's like, oh yes, I'll jump to another.
And
I need to express.
He needs to express
this story.
Joe's like, okay, that is what this whole 3 hours is like. I guess Mario Brothers. At least Mario Brothers is going in one direct line. The problem with Kanye's interview here, and most times if you hear him long form, yes, he says some fascinating things. I do believe that he's got some absolute nuggets of wisdom, but it always comes across a little distracting because he's it seems unfocused or chaotic because he's just going on. It's like a Family Guy episode without the comedy. It's just the tangents are so insane when you're hearing the stream of consciousness of Kanye. And some people like that. Some people get frustrated by that. But that is the quickest review I can offer. But I wanted to play the clip. But anyway, so they get to this point where they're talking about fear. They're talking about worry, and they do this interesting part that leads up to the Star Wars portion. I'm just giving you everything in context, but also I wrote it all out, a transcript, so I can give you the full Kanye with the most I can, since I can't play the clips. But they talk about being fearless, and he's shaking in fear of the Father, his God, and how he doesn't feel anything else. They talk about worry, stress, how it can kill you, which is facts. And then Joe's talking about, well, yeah, and then you don't take chances. And Kanye's like, yep. So you have to be able to anchor and eliminate worry and say, I am walking on a righteous path. I don't need to worry about jail, bankruptcy. And it's a fact. He's right. At the same time, it's like Kanye and Joe don't have to worry because they have tons of money, a career. It's much easier to not worry when you can pay to eliminate some of your worries, right? Because a lot of people could go bankrupt because they don't have the money Kanye and Joe have or the opportunities. So again, it's like two very rich people talking about, yeah, everyone stop worrying. It's annoying because that's how does someone else who doesn't have that money really fix it? It comes into question. But he keeps going and he says, but that's where smart aleck prayers come in. I used to have this smart aleck prayer where I said, God, deliver me from pain.
And then he took my mom.
Deep. And that's real. He's right. He talks about how hard that hit, and that made him. That made him. He couldn't hurt that much ever again. And he says it was like creating a character like Deadpool. I'm like Deadpool for God. There's no noise, no human noise that can. And someone tried to, and then he goes on a tangent. This is now tangent over to talking about a lawyer he met. There was I'm going to try and read and do my best Kanye for you while you're looking at the picture of Kanye. Someone tried to there was a friend who did a really bad move where he tried to say, I was using this lawyer and I was about to work with him. And he said, the lawyer said he wouldn't work with you until you had my contract done. And I was like, do you know me at all? I'd be the type of cut off my arm. If my hands are like this, I'll cut off my own hand. I come back into the room, they'll be like, what are you doing here? I thought we tied you up. And then he does this funny Luke Skywalker sort of pulls his hand in and shows it off. Then I make a Luke Skywalker hand. And this is the one thing I want to say. But it's just interesting because he dropped Star Wars multiple times throughout this interview, and I didn't know. I knew he was a movie fan, listening to his music and stuff. And if you guys remember, he did a tweet where he showed this like a massively amazing cinematic theater screen he has in a warehouse by him. So it's clear he's a movie buff, but I just didn't know how much until you really listen to him. He drops a lot of non sequiturs about movies, but he then goes on and talks about. He says here.
And this is about to make me mad right here. The first time you see me get mad in an interview. So
he's already talked now for an hour and 15 minutes, and I'm pausing because I have to show commentary here so they don't ding me. But an hour and 15 minutes, guys, this is the time he's about to finally get mad. Are you ready? Here it is.
They said that George Lucas's prequels are worse than the corporate made Disney Star Wars is.
I'll get mad at that.
I was just shocked. I was like, wait, what? This is the first time you're gonna get mad? And he goes into this sort of speech about, and Joe says, yeah, I'm gonna get mad with you. And that's effing ridiculous, Joe says. And so
That too.
he get
Like,
That's fucking ridiculous.
listen to this.
Revenge of the Sith, we saw how Darth Vader was made.
Yeah.
He's loving it. I like excited Kanye talking about the prequels and Star Wars. He goes on to say, we saw how Darth Vader's made. I watched that 10 times during the pandemic. And then, don't jump, Anakin, I got the high ground. He does it all again. And if you don't know, he actually, he has done this. Here, I have it here. This is a song from Na Na Na, which just came out, but he actually has a lyric in there, in the song. I know you think Obi-Wan getting tired now. Don't jump, Anakin, I got the higher ground. It's part of this song that he's saying, this new song. I'm gonna hit the Moonwalk Tito, seen Tito, but the president got the veto. But he's clearly has been watching this movie a lot because it's even in his lyrics. So they mentioned again later in the show. So let me pivot. I'm gonna give you more Kanye reaction, transcribed reacting to reenactment. Sorry, to Kanye. Here we go. So they're getting mad about, don't jump. And then Joe goes, those movies were pure. They were pure. And then Kanye corrects him. No, I'm saying even in the prequels, they are better. Anything that, I'm sorry, Disney Star Wars design team, I know you're going to put my face on The Office and go, forget Kanye. Kanye's not going to do that. I'm sure they don't care that much about what you say. That's part of the problem of when you hear Kanye. He's like, has such a big head. He's about to say one little comment and he thinks, and in a 3-hour interview, that the creative team at Disney is going to post his picture on the wall to say, forget him. That's the problem when you got to really get into the head of how Kanye is talking. You can't ignore. It's called a big head, having a big head. But anyway, continuing. So he says, no, don't, before you get mad, and put my face in The Office and say, forget Kanye. No, man, this is George. This is his baby. That thing was set in his heart to show us as children the hero's journey, And these, how can we run it back and replay? Even at Disney, there's people at Pixar that have left. People have left where they call, I forget the exact name, every time there's a new idea, they call it an unproven idea. An unproven idea, he says. So they'll get to Toy Story 800,000 and Frozen Trillion before there's a new concept, which Joe then echoes, to take a chance on. And Kanye goes, yeah, to take a chance on. And we've been programmed. When you see the style of homes I've been developing, he's going off on a tangent, they are far closer to the way the galaxy looks, the way water looks, the way our makeup and our bodies feel. And we've been put in these boxes, and the way that was due to money, due to construction. We have to be in these boxes, and we've been stuck in a loop, like on Westworld. And I feel like Thandie Newton in Westworld, she had to use the people that enslaved her, that trapped her, to make it out. And it's funny, when I like the box and when I'm talking about farming, I got to talk about a point about farming I didn't make earlier. So you're getting my point. He goes off on these tangents that it's sort of hard to flow of what's really the most important thing you're saying here. He doesn't know how to pick and choose in speeches. So then he goes on to talk about people that do work at 60%. Then he talks about how earlier he even says earlier I had that one riff about kids needing physics. He's even replaying old riffs he was doing earlier in the show, and how we need to lock ourselves in a box, and the platform and the program and the power. And then he goes, I read a tweet, I finished Netflix, what's next? And I was like, that's so true. We can't even program enough to satisfy ourselves. Forrest Gump is done. What's next? I mean, yeah, I guess you could take that and go, yeah, he's right. But then he just keeps going and going. Talks about how he's going to make money, how he makes the money during the concerts, and then talks suddenly. This is all in a 10, 20-second segment. He goes from all these segments I'm talking about to then cheer, I need you right now, and the crowd cheering. And then someone asked him, did you do Good Champ? And then he goes off on George Mayweather. And then he goes on and on and on and on and on and on. It's crazy. So then another 45 minutes later, to wrap up the Star Wars portion of the show, he goes on and he asks, Joe is trying to herd cats here. He's trying to get it focused, and he's agreeing how Disney just sort of forms the same stuff we've seen already. And Kanye goes, yeah, well, what's the main character in Star Wars? And Joe goes, Luke Skywalker. And then Kanye's like, who created Star Wars? And Joe's like, George Lucas. And then Kanye gives his face like, and he's like, well, I don't think Lucas wrote him. And he's
George
like,
Lucas.
Yeah.
He's the main character in Star Wars.
Yeah.
He kissed his sister.
So he talks. That's the revelation he makes later in the show. Again, bringing back to George Lucas and Star Wars. Look, and then Joe echoes again. There's something that's pure and not a remake of something else. They go on that. Overall, that's sort of how it worked here in the Joe Rogan show. How this whole thing went. It was just his fascination with the prequels is something that surprised me. I didn't know he was such a fan. It reminds, though, there are a lot of people who are fans of the prequels. They are better than the Disney sequels, hands down. I didn't like them at first when I was littler, when I saw it. And I guess I was like 19 or 18 when that came out. Didn't love them then, but I've grown to respect them more, and I absolutely do love them more than the sequels. But it's just fun to see someone like Kanye, who's such a character, right? And he's just getting all giddy talking about how he watches Revenge of the Sith 10 times over the past few months. So you know, who knew? On top of that, beyond just, like I said, the review of the overall show, it's fascinating to watch. I think people are going to be mad at Joe. Joe says it at the end because it gets political, and Joe's really sort of trying to normalize Kanye, and some people won't like that. And look, like I said, I actually don't have a problem with Kanye. I do think he is way smarter than a lot of people give him credit for, and I do think he's a musical genius, and I do think he's an artist and visionary. So look, he's earned the ego, like he has. Some people earn that cred, and he has. So it's hard for me to knock it. At the same time, his ego is huge, and it gets in his way. And I think he also he thinks everything he's saying is so important that it's hard to really follow it. Like he's like a preacher. And when you're there doing a conversation on a show with somebody, it's like, it'd be nice to have a conversation. And he can't seem to have a conversation. He wanted to be like, do a vlog and just talk. Great. Then that makes sense. But he's here on a conversation with Joe Rogan doing an interview. And it doesn't feel like he's really like there to answer questions. You just let Kanye go, and then Kanye talks. And then everyone's supposed to sit back and listen and take notes. He even talks about at one point, like, this might be a scene in the movie of my life. It's like, that's how big Kanye's head is. And I think that's the biggest criticism of Kanye. And so that was on full display. That said, I've seen it before. And like I said, I respect Kanye. He does drop some knowledge. He has some fascinating, well, he's throwing so much out there that there is definitely some stuff you can take and be like, man, that was deep. I didn't expect that. Wow, he is actually intelligent. He does know a lot of these policies and stuff. Okay, wow. And all right, there's something there. But does he really, there was a whole question about healthcare and what he was going to do. He didn't really answer the question. That's the problem as a politician. Like, does he really know how to do those things, or really just hire people to do it? I don't know, whatever. That's what the deal is. That's why he was there promoting, obviously, to write himself in on the ballots. Election day couldn't come sooner enough. I'm so ready for all this to go. But guess what, guys? Get ready. You're going to see more Kanye. He promises he's going to win in 2024. So, what do you think? In the meanwhile, if you like this sort of stuff, you like my commentary, and you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Hit that alert button for all notifications. Smash that like button. And leave a comment if you haven't already. You can also follow me here on social media and watch all these other videos that are going to pop up next to me. Hit that subscribe. I guess it's up here now. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned for more here on Popcorn Planet.